That's good.
All right, guys, we're going to kind of back up the section here and take a look at what the effects of using negative numbers are. And I think that this hopefully is a review on some stuff. But with the things that we're going to be doing down the road, you'll want to make sure you understand all these properties. So I'm going to run through that real quickly. Everybody seen their grade on that grade sheet? Okay, pass it over until I see that, okay? All right. Guys, operations, basically four basic operations. Addition, subtraction, what are the other two? Multiplication, division, okay? All right, so let's make sure you're in your Chromebooks, just did some calculator. That's all you need to be at right now, and that's the only thing you should be at. But guys, quick goal today, I just want to review how to do some operations with negative numbers, all right? Seems pretty simple. Kids mess it up whether you believe it or not, all right? Just going to jump right into this, guys. Why don't you guys pull your calculator up? I'll grab mine here. I want to come up and verify some of these rules right here, okay? First thing I've got up here is rules for adding numbers, okay? And then for rules of adding numbers, there's two cases, okay? Case one here, where the signs are going to be the what? What's it say? Case one, signs are the same. Or else if I'm adding two numbers, the signs might be what? It might be different here, right? So I might say this is case two. Signs could be different. Okay, guys, in this first part right here, if I'm adding two numbers where the signs are the same, what's it say to do? Add and keep the sign. Let's see if we can't figure out what the heck that means, okay? If I do something as simple as 6 plus 4, what's that going to kick out to me? 10. Now here's the deal. I added a 6 to a 4. Both values are what kind of a value here? Both values are a positive, all right? Both values are a positive, okay? So, that being said, if both values are positive right there, we're saying the signs are the same. So I said add them together. You've got 10, so I'll write this down here as an example. If you have 6 plus 4 like this, what did we get for a solution? Well, you got 10, right? Right?
Yeah.
Okay, so a positive and a positive, what kind of a sign did I keep under addition if both signs were positive? Kept positive, all right? Well, what happens if you have something like this? Say maybe negative 7 plus something like this, negative 5. Okay, what kind of values are you adding this time? What kind of values are you adding this time? Negatives. Okay, let's think about this. Middle part's my addition sign.
-2.
Careful. Let's just ask some questions here first. Am I adding values with the same sign, first of all?
Yeah.
I am, right?
Wait, so that's
I'm adding a negative to another negative. So those signs are the same. Both values are negative, right? Okay. It says to add the two values and then keep the sign. So basically what that's saying is this. Since the signs are the same, my answer automatically has to be what kind of a value in the end. It's going to be negative, right? So the values of these right here, or the absolute values, if you will, look at the 7 and the 5. What would the 7 and the 5 add up to? What kind of 12 am I going to have here when I do this? Negative. Okay, so it's going to be negative 12. Simply negative 12, right? Simply negative 12. Let's verify that. Okay? Let's go 7. In my calculator, I got to clear this out. Clear. 7, which is a negative, plus 5, which is a negative. Let's see what I get. Work?
yeah.
Listen carefully. Negative 10 plus negative 30. What's the answer? Negative 10 plus negative 30.
-4.
Negative 40. Signs are the same. Okay? Take the 10 and 30, add it, 40, keep your sign. You should know this already. Are we okay with that rule, first of all?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, if you're adding a negative.
Second part down, rules. You know what? Do this for me. Do this for me. What's 6 minus 4?
2.
What's 4 minus 6? Okay. Here's how I think of this. All right. Thank you. Apparently it wants me to change something. I don't want to change. Okay. I think of this like, sometimes I have problems like this. If I would go 12 minus 19 like this, It's like saying I have $12 and I spent 19. Am I in debt or not in debt? You're going to be in debt. So what kind of value are you going to get? It's going to be negative. I just turn the numbers around. I take the bigger number minus the small number under subtraction. What's 19 minus 12? 7. But what kind of a 7 would I have here? Negative, okay? Kind of the same thing with addition. If the signs are different right here, if the signs are different in this example, ouch. The rule here says take the big number minus the what? When I say take the big number minus the small number, I want you to completely forget about signs from that point, okay? Here's the situation. How about an example like this? Let's go 6 plus negative 4. You guys agree that 6 is positive right here? Agree that 4 is negative. Okay, again, we're still under rules of addition right here. It says if my signs are different, meaning I got a positive value and a negative value that we're adding together, it says take the bigger value minus the smaller value. Forgetting signs right now, I'm just looking at two numbers, 6 and 4. Which is the bigger value? 6. What's the smaller value? I would go 6 minus what value here? Be just 6 minus 4, right? Okay. All right, make sure you're writing this down, please. What is 6 minus 4 going to be? Oh, come on. 2. All right. Now, the question becomes at the end of this, once you've done the big part minus the small part, it says to keep the sign of the big value. When I say the bigger value, I'm saying the bigger value, not including signs, positive or negative. So of 6 and 4, which value would win out there? The 6. There's more positives than there are negatives, right?
Yes.
Okay, so what's my solution going to look like here? Well, it would just be positive 2. So let's try an addition value like this. What if I was going 7 plus negative 19? Okay. First of all, are the signs the same or are they different? They're different.
It'd be like subtracting.
Pretty much, yeah. So if I look at this right here and say, hey, I've got a 7 and I've got a 19. The 19's negative, the signs are different. So by rule, it says take the bigger value minus the smaller value. When I say bigger value, smaller value, I want to know which value is further from 0. Okay? Which value would be furthest from 0, the 19 or the 7?
19.
Put that out front. Don't attach signs to it. Go 19 minus the small value. What is the small value? What's the small value in this problem? 19 or 7?
7.
Go 19 minus 7. What's that difference going to be?
12.
Okay. Next question is then, I got 12 as a value after I didn't have any signs attached to it, but I want to go back and look at my values now. 7 and negative 19. If they were going to have an arm wrestling match, which one would win? The positive or negative? Negative, right?
Yes.
There's more negatives here than there are what? Positives. It's like saying there's more negatives here than there's more positives, right?
Yeah.
So wouldn't the negatives win out in that match? Right? Okay, so what's my solution going to look like here? Negative what? Negative 12. Okay. Let me ask this quick question here. Do you understand adding rules when the signs are the same? Okay. That's the easy one. Are you okay with the adding rules when the signs are different? Are we okay with that?
Yes.
Okay, just as a quick check. Do you guys have a blank page on the very last side of your notes? Go there. I'll put 2 problems up there. You have to get them all right.
Carson, you're on a Snapchat story.
I am.
Yeah.
I want to see it in a second. Okay, 2 addition problems. You have to get them right. What the snark? Your story. There. Ellen, where?
Ellen, you gotta hold it. And count the squeeze.
Yeah, I have a couple.
Wait, is that
videos.
Colton's phone?
Yeah.
Be careful, there might be nudes. No, I'm kidding.
They made me look like the devil.
Yeah. Scary.
Lordy.
Scary. Sorry, man, I don't take news like other people.
Who's got that back there? First one, Mariah, you got it?
But she doesn't.
I didn't think she was probably. I can't see it.
Don't type it in. Do it mentally.
What?
Mentally.
Oh. can't see it.
Okay, just wait.
Negative 22. Negative.
First question, signs same or different?
Same.
Same. Take the values. Am I adding or subtracting?
Add.
Adding. What's 22 plus 31?
53.
53. Which sign should I choose to keep?
Negative.
Awesome.
Come on, bro.
Okay, good there.
Yeah.
Signs same or different in the second addition problem.
Different.
Big minus small. What minus what?
82. 96.
What is that?
76.
Which sign's going to win here?
Negative.
Positive or negative?
Positive.
There's more positives than there are negatives, so it has to be what type of a 76?
Positive.
You got it. Okay, very good. All right, next set right here. Whoops, didn't want to do that. Wanted to do this. Next set that is talking about subtraction. Okay? Somebody read me my rule for subtracting.
Change subtraction to addition of the opposite and apply addition.
Subtraction is addition of the opposite. And then apply these rules up here again, right? We're going to make a change and then refer back to steps 1. You should know this. As an example, here we go. 22 minus, I don't know. How about negative 4? Okay, when I do subtraction, I always put my numbers in parentheses like this. I'm doing 22 minus negative 4. You guys agree with that? That's the problem. Okay, this problem is what type of a problem right here by that sign? Want the difference of the two, so it's subtraction. The rule says turn this subtraction into what? So I'm going to call this 22 plus. Okay, now watch and listen carefully. This is a subtraction right here that changed to what? Addition. I want addition at the opposite. So I don't want addition of negative 4. I would want addition of positive 4. Why is that? Why did 2 negatives make a positive?
That's good.
I may have heard that. 2 negatives make a positive. Why? Two positives still positive also. Why are 2 negatives a negative? I'm sorry. Why are double negatives a positive? They just do, right?
Because if you had a negative number and a negative number, you get a positive number.
But why?
Because that's how I do it.
Well, why? You know it. You know it, right?
No, that's just how you
Did
do
you
it.
have Mr. Schmidt?
I had his. She didn't know
Miss,
anything.
oh, she did. She had
No, she
something.
didn't. She didn't know anything.
Well, I don't know anything either. I just stuck here BS the whole time.
Mr. Schmidt knew too much.
Help me out here.
He get away.
Why are 2 negatives a positive?
Because they're going, like, it's hard to, because.
Let me ask you this question.
Yeah.
Maybe you,
Subtract.
Maybe if you
wait a minute. Your standard answer is because a math teacher told me,
Yep.
right?
Super legit.
Okay, listen to this.
That's basically.
Let me listen to these questions. Listen to these questions quickly. You guys have heard of the word. If I ask you this question, if I have a number 4, you hearing this? If I have the number 4, what's its opposite?
2.
Negative 4, right? Listen to what I just said here. 4, so the opposite is negative 4, right? You guys agree with that? If I have a number 4, then the opposite is negative 4, right?
Yes.
Okay, so if 4 is this and negative 4 is here, negative 4, I can read this right here. This part right here, instead of reading as negative 4, instead of reading that as negative 4, I have the option to read this as the opposite of 4. You guys agree with that?
Yes, sir.
I can read that as the opposite of 4. So guys, sometimes when I have a negative sign, instead of calling it a negative sign, I can use what phrase in place of negative? What phrase can I use in place of negative? Okay, so when I see something like this, watch this real quickly. When I write something like this, this really says, what word could I use for a negative sign right here? What phrase I should say? I could really read this as the opposite of negative what? Well, negative 6. You guys agree with that? This sign right here is my opposite of part, and then this sign right here is negative. What's the opposite of a negative?
Positive.
Positive. So when you see double negatives right here, all that's really saying is what's the opposite of a negative, which is a what? So therefore, double negative has to be positive. Have you heard that before?
I think so.
You think so? Okay. Double negatives. Read it as the opposite of a negative, and you're there. Okay. So backing up to this example, this is really the same as 22 plus 4. Hey, signs the same or difference under addition now? They're the same. Add them up. What have you got?
26.
Which sign should you choose to keep?
Positive.
Positive. What if you have something like this? Negative 7 minus 19. Not left-handed, but I'm trying. Okay. First of all, what operation is this? It is subtraction. We want to change it to addition of what? Opposite, and then apply your addition rules. All right. Is negative 7 going to change? The answer is what? That front number stays the same. So this is going to be the same as, I'm going to squeeze this in down here. I'm only going to do this last example, so I'll put the rest of the work right down here. This is going to become the same as negative 7 plus, okay, in parentheses I had what kind of a 19?
Positive.
Positive, so I should change that to a what?
Negative.
So negative 7 plus negative 19, and sign's the same or different there under addition now.
Same.
So I'm going to add 7 and 19 to get,
Negative 25.
not 25,
26.
26, all right, and then what type of 26?
Negative.
You get negative there, okay? Both signs are negative, therefore under addition, keep it the same, okay? Are you okay with that stuff up there?
Yes.
I know I'm going quickly, but I want to get this done today. With me so far? Okay. This is the one that's maybe the toughest one. So maybe if I would say when you get done with this today, go ahead and review it. Or if you need to hear it again, go online and listen to it because I'm recording you guys right now. Okay? I can see what you guys are looking at on your Chromebooks because there's a camera affixed in the back of the room at this point. So I know exactly who's doing what at this point. Okay? All right. Well, you'll be surprised, Mrs. B.
Where is it?
All right. Hey, I kind of messed up the notes, so let's run to the second page. We are going to talk rules of multiplication and division. We'll use these interchangeably right here. We'll use these interchangeably, but take a look at the second page, please. I would like you guys to do the following for me. Do this. This should have said at the very top, a positive. Positive should have been up here. This should be the word positive right up here in the second column. And this should be the third one, a negative. Okay, so do that for me quickly on that second page. Write those words, all right? I'm not going to spend a ton of time on this here, this page. We'll fly through. Guys, first one under multiplication and division. Understand we've gone from addition to subtraction. Where are we now?
Division.
Multiplication slash
Division.
division. Here this says a positive times or divided by another positive will always be what? Positive. So what I'm getting at is this. A positive times a positive will be a positive. Or if you have a positive divided by a, what's your value? So as an example, 6 times 2, like this. Both are positives, right? What's your solution? 12. Very good. Okay? I'm not going to write the rules down on the other one. All right? Here it says a positive times or divided by a, that should be negative, not negati. All right? Negative, negati sounds like some kind of a wacky dragon. All right? Negati. Okay, never mind. Positive times or divided by a negative is going to be what?
Negative.
Negative. Okay, so here's an example. 6 times negative 2. What's your solution?
Negative 12.
Negative 12. Whoops. Okay, and then the last rule right here. A negative times or divided by another negative will be positive. This is incorrect right here. Okay? This is incorrect. What do you got to change that to? Positive. Okay, so do that, please. All right. How about we go negative 22? Oh, come on. Negative 22. Boy, my pens don't work very well on this thing. divided by negative 11. First of all, negative divided by negative, the solution has to be what kind of a value?
Positive.
And then how many times will 11 go in 22? Okay. Are you on board with me right now? Again, this stuff should be reviewable. We're going to tie it all together here. All right? Any questions to this point? Good? All right. Understanding opposites and absolute value. I'm going to throw a number line up here real quickly. Give me a second, please. Holy cows, what just happened there? I don't really know what happened. So let's see if we can figure out what just happened here. I know what happened. That's okay. Guys, real quickly, I'm going to put some values right up here on this number line. I don't like the way that looks, so I'm not going to do this. Okay. Examples of opposites and absolute values. Absolute value, guys. Absolute value is simply the number, or the, in other words, distance a number is from 0. So for example, when you count distance, you don't count negatively, do you? The only time you would count distance negatively would be in a situation where you're talking about objects falling back to the earth, which you'll get later in life, all right? Not today. On a number line, isn't there a 0 somewhere on a number line?
In the middle.
Okay. If I would go ahead and say that 8 is on this number line, of the two marks that I've got up there, which one would be 8? The one on the right or the one on the left? Okay. And let's suppose that negative 6 is up here somewhere. Which mark would that be? Left of 0, right? Okay. Guys, when we start talking absolute value, basically I want you to understand it's just a distance from 0. So when I say this, absolute value is denoted by these bars. So if I say, what's the absolute value of 8? I want to know, what's the distance from 0 up to 8? What is that distance? How far is it? 8. It's 8 units, right? So the absolute value of 8 is still going to be what? 8. Okay. Well, what if I start saying something like this? I want to know the absolute value of negative 6. All that's simply saying is this. How far is negative 6 away from 0? What would you say? It's 6 units. Okay, so give me some kind of a statement. Non-zero numbers, absolute value is always what kind of a value? Positive, right? What's the absolute value of 44? What's the absolute value of negative 55? 55. You guys buy that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Bye bye.
Other part here quickly. Opposites. Opposites simply say they are two numbers that are the same distance from 0. On a number line. Here's 0. If I go 7 to the right, what's the opposite of going 7 units to the right?
Negative
7 units to the left. So if negative 7 is one of my values, what's its opposite?
7.
Okay. If 99 is one of my values, what's its opposite?
Negative.
What are you doing with the plus or minus sign under opposites? If you want the opposite of some number, what do you do to the plus or minus sign? Switch it, don't you? Okay, so opposites, all you're doing is switching signs. Okay, listen to this number, 42. You got 42 down, guys? What's the absolute value of 42? What's the absolute value of 42? It's positive 42 still. What's the opposite of 42?
Negative.
Understand the difference?
Yep.
Okay.
Teachers, please hold students until we release them for the concert, probably about 2:35. Teachers, hold on your students until we release
Yeah!
them for the concert. Thank you.
Woo! More math.
No.
Yeah!
We're all one.
Yeah.
All right, let's finish up here. I do want to finish up. I got about 5 more minutes left, so hang in there with me. We're getting close, okay? Oh no, I'm recording that. Brittany, your job is to tell me not to get goofy up here when I'm recording.
Why?
All right. Guys, real quickly,
32.
we've talked about this part right here. Negative x. Gosh dang, this thing does not want to work very well today. I should slap a Ford sticker on this. Doesn't work. Note, it says that negative x is also read how, guys?
Of the opposite of x.
As the opposite of x. Remember that. Negative x can always be read as the opposite of x. Okay. We're going to evaluate the following expressions on the next page. So please flip that over. Last page. 2 examples. You guys ready to roll on this?
Totally.
Okay. Guys, I think it's important that when you substitute stuff in, you always substitute with what? Parentheses. Okay, so I'm going to put a note up here, sub with parentheses. I went to Subway one day and said, what do you want? And I said parentheses, and they looked at me. All right, sub with parentheses. Okay, you ever had a parentheses sub? Listen now. This says here, evaluate the opposite of x plus 6 when x is negative 4. Now, I can go about this a couple different ways, but I'm going to write 2 different scenarios down here. If you understand this is the opposite of x right here, knowing that x is negative 4, what can I just plug in right away? I can just, well, all right, let's do it the long way. I'm going to put this sign here first. I've got the negative sign that means opposite of x. What would replace the x right here now, guys? What's it say it's equal to? You understand that this minus sign out front is the one that's in the original problem, right? And then the value I use to replace the x is negative 4. We just got done talking about, not too long ago, this is really read as the opposite of negative 4, isn't it? Isn't this read as the opposite of negative 4? What's your value then? This is really positive 4. I've got a plus 6 attached to this. This is really the same as 4 plus 6, isn't it? What's that solution? 10. Right? All right. Now again, if I look at this right up here, if x is negative 4 right here, if just x is negative 4, another way to think about it is this. Well, this says the opposite of x, doesn't it? So wouldn't that mean the opposite of what value? Opposite of negative 4, which is my good. Okay? All right. Let's talk the second. Second one, you've got a couple of variables right here. You've got an m and you've got an n. Okay, you've got an m and you've got an n. All right, you've got an m and you've got an n. What's your m value? What's the value we're going to use for m? Negative 5. So when I substitute this in for m, do you guys agree that this is negative 5 to what power? All to the second. And then this is going to be minus 2 times, what's the n value we're going to substitute in? Negative 6, right? Okay. We've got to consider some order of operation stuff here, so let's talk about this. Guys, right here, negative 5 to the second. That means negative 5 times negative 5, doesn't it? What's that product? Yeah, good. That's that negative times negative thing right there, isn't it?
Yep.
Okay. So 25. I'm going to bring this minus sign down. That's this part. Okay. Now you got a 2 times a negative 6 to evaluate. I got to multiply before I can subtract, right? What's 2 times negative 6? Negative 12. So in parentheses, I'm writing negative 12. Okay. So this is this whole idea now where we're saying we're going to take 25 minus a negative 12. 25 minus negative 12. We said, though, subtraction. Change your subtraction into what? Addition of the opposite. So this will be 25 plus what? Okay. Everybody agree with that? Addition of a positive 12. Addition of the opposite. What's my sum here? 37. All right. Guys, again, I think these are things that we should know. If we don't know, hopefully they're a good review, but they're going to be essential to where we're headed here probably tomorrow. All right. What questions have you got on this stuff? Anything at all? Okay. Make sure you bring that stuff with you tomorrow. That's important. If you didn't turn some of that stuff in today, when do I have to have it? Got to have it tomorrow, okay? I'll also remind you, too, that Chapter 1 test that you guys had last week, your deadline to retake that is tomorrow, okay? Deadline to retake the Chapter 1 test is 3:30 tomorrow, okay? Any questions for me at all? Going once? twice. Hey, do me a favor. Make sure the chairs still get put up. Sign out of your Chromebooks each time you leave a class. So do that for me when you close them up. And then definitely get the chairs up.
Why do you sign out?
Because if you don't sign out, it'll start. If you're pulling the Wi-Fi from here and you don't sign out, let's say Mr. Wigrum way down the other end, your Wi-Fi will still want to trigger off of this.
That's a
It'll
work, Carson.
but-
It's been working all day for me, man.
Good.
All day. I haven't logged out of it at all.
All right. That's just what they told us to tell you. So I'm just the messenger in this. So don't. Okay.
You leaving, buddy?